I want to tell you guys a story about persistence, about setbacks and are they really, and about some practical things too for how to get through those things and how to make those things work to your advantage. And so I want to start by talking about, I mentioned setbacks, right? And are they really? So how many times have you come across a situation where you're like, I know exactly how this is going to work out, everything will be fine, and then something you didn't even expect hits you like a freight train out of nowhere, right? And now all of a sudden, all the things you had planned, even the little bit you had going for you, is gone. At points like that, it's so easy to just try to just give up. You know, maybe this isn't for me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I had the unfortunate, or maybe fortunate, pleasure of experiencing something like this myself. My business partner and partner in many things, Pierre and I, were making our way with Blue Artists. We were really fortunate to have some really great contracts with video work, doing music videos, being awarded and recognized by BET, just working with some really great other organizations to promote their brands and help them build their awareness. And a very unfortunate accident occurred with Pierre, and we had to relocate to help him get through that experience. Now, Pierre and I founded Blue Artists, and we run that together. And so when that happened, we were out of the market for a good couple of months while he was recovering. And it seemed like everyone had kind of disappeared. And so we were like, well, wow, what do we do now? It seemed like all of our momentum had stopped. You know, when you're young and you're trying to build your business, you have to just keep going and taking opportunities. And then when all of a sudden nothing is there, it can seem kind of quiet and people can kind of move on to other things. But fortunately, we got ourselves together and we were like, okay, we have two options. We can say, this is it, or we can try to find another way to do what we love to do. And that's help people build their brands and help people overcome maybe situations that we had been through ourselves. And so that's what we set out to do. And I'm glad to say that that was a big, wonderful turning point for us. So something that could have really been the end was something that was actually probably a great inspiration. I know for me, it really was. Going through that taught me a lot about persistence and about patience, and sticking with what it is that you love to do. And that's what I really want to impress upon you guys. For anyone who has been running their business for some time now, maybe you're thinking about going into being your own business, or maybe you're just trying to get your foot in the door somewhere and just get a job, get a career started. You can do it, you know. Stay focused on your journey. Stay focused on your strengths. Everyone has their own strengths. Everyone has their own pizzazz that they can bring to the table. The second you look over in someone else's yard and see how nice they're doing and start wishing that you could have what they have without knowing their experience and what they've gone through to get there, you start neglecting what you could be doing. You know, what seeds you've planted that can grow forth something that no one has seen before, or that unique thing that you can offer. And so I want to tie that into something that we call, or I call, or that even others would call personal branding. Who's heard of personal branding before? Yeah? Everyone? Okay. How many of you feel like personal branding is like this nebulous thing that you're not really sure how to explain to people? Yeah? Have you ever said personal branding and their eyes kind of glaze over a little bit? Yeah. Can anyone offer me just really short what they think personal branding actually is? Any volunteers? Yes. Okay. So we say how you show up in the universe and how you represent yourself as an individual. That's great. Does that resonate with you guys? Does that sound about right? Yeah. Anyone have a different idea of personal branding? Yes.
When
Okay.
You know, it's like McDonald's. You see the arch?
Yeah.
The brand?
Yeah.
That's McDonald's. I don't know.
Okay.
See, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, it's like as soon as someone meets you or hears your name, they know who you are, what to expect, kind of thing. Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. So as you all have heard here, you've heard two really great definitions about what personal branding is. To tie it all together, I would say it's your reputation, right? It's how you interact with the world and how the world receives you. And that personal branding is what will get you through just about everything. So like I said, to tie it back to that beginning, whether you're searching for just a job to kind of get some income coming in and make things, meet, whether you're wanting to switch careers, whether you're wanting to start a business, take your business to the next level, that personal branding is what's going to carry you through each of those experiences. And what's great about that is that as you have an experience and you want to take it somewhere else, that can follow you. That experience can transform and prepare you for the next thing that you're about to face. So that personal branding is that key piece that gets you through, those setbacks that is only intensified through that persistency that you exude to get through, your challenges, every little thing that you experience, every setback, or as I like to call it, opportunity, is what allows you to grow and just build your personal brand even more and more. So that when people meet you or hear about you, whether you're over here doing this or now you're over here doing this, you're always succeeding and just growing even more in that personal brand and that personal presentation of yourself. And so I just want to encourage everyone to really think about that. Think about, how your personal brand, how putting out there that thing that you believe is what will carry you through the hard times, through the great times, and even beyond that. Thank you.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel Fannie Allen is an entrepreneur, retired federal manager, retired etiquette and international protocol consultant, and director of the Allen Protocol and Leadership Institute, LLC, with offices in Virginia and Georgia. Ms. Allen has been a small business owner for over 20 years, providing financial and consulting services as an etiquette and protocol consultant. She also has over 25 years of public service experience, including assignments in Europe, Asia, Latin America, and Africa. Ms. Allen presents seminars on business etiquette, international protocol, and dining to corporate and government personnel, colleges, universities, and nonprofit organizations. She has extensive experience preparing college and graduate students for careers in international affairs by providing etiquette, protocol, and communication training. Ms. Allen also specializes in professional sessions on relationship building. In addition, her organization has successfully convened leadership and social grace camps for young people, boy, could they use more of that, and in various locales in the United States. As a community service volunteer, she is a member of the High Tea Society, the American Association of University Women, a life member of the Coalition of 100 Black Women, and a member of numerous other community-based organizations. We are pleased to welcome retired Lieutenant Colonel Ms. Fannie Allen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will take just a few minutes of your time to speak on interviewing tips. And when we think in terms of manners, etiquette, protocol, all we're talking about is communication. What will happen after I complete my presentation is that you will have an opportunity to talk with the recruiters that are here today. So I entitled my session, 15 Minutes Until Showtime. A life experience is at hand. It is approximately 15 minutes away, about a few more minutes than that. I'm delighted to stand before you and remind you that there are many individuals here who are in your corner. We all recognize for worth and ambition. We are confident that you are A, capable of making a real contribution in the workplace, and B, that you can interview for, secure, and qualify for a job. Many of you are familiar with the television series Mission Impossible. As in that series, we hope to convince you that the mission before you is just a matter of minutes, is indeed possible. We want to help to make it happen. We encourage you to hold on and listen carefully. Your willingness to listen and receive these suggestions could make a world of difference in your lives. It could make a difference in getting a job. Now, that is a biggie. You're just minutes away from an opportunity to prove to others what we already know, that you are capable of doing a job and will do it well. It's all about selling yourself and the unique skill set you bring to the table. Now let's get ready. Firstly, don't let the process frighten you out of your mind. You can do this. Don't fall apart and lose your confidence. Don't listen to the little voice inside your head that might whisper, they don't want you. Nobody will hire you. Other folk have a better chance than you. So, the very first tip, the first tip of 6, encourages you to be confident. Step 2, use every second. Did you know that within 5 to 15 seconds after you walk into a room, someone has an opinion of you? Some studies indicate that interviewers make up their minds about candidates in the first 5 minutes of an interview, and then spend the rest of the time looking for things to confirm their decision. They sit there and think, you're either right or you're not. So, you must make sure that you immediately get on the scoreboard. Enter the space or room with poise, energy, and enthusiasm. Express your appreciation for the interviewer's time. They may well be looking at a long list of names coming before or after you. Those who show little appreciation will probably be eliminated immediately. The handshake. The very first second counts, so greet your interviewer properly. For example, Miss Allen, I'm delighted to meet you. Offer your hand for a proper handshake. I'd like for each of you to stand, please. It will be, yes, we can work this. Find a partner. Those at the tables, just work down the line. Those in the center, just turn and face someone. A handshake is your other introduction to someone, and it is something that you want to execute in a fashion that they know that you mean business. Decide who's number 1 and number 2 in your pairing. Number 2 person will say to number 1 person, hello, not hi. Not hey, but either hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Give your first and last name. Number one person, in turn, will do the same. Now, normally when we meet someone, we initially call out our name and shake, but this time we're doing it step by step. In standing before someone to shake their hand, we want what I refer to as the presidential stance. That means our hands are not in our pockets. We don't have what I refer to as the crouch hold. You're standing, remember the first tip? Confidently. You have great eye contact. And ladies and gentlemen, would you please, I think I see a few people with the crouch hold. Let's drop our hands to the side. Show that level of confidence. I call it, once again, the presidential stance. Number two, introduce yourself to number one, and in turn, number one, introduce yourself to number two. I thank you. I thank you. We're very sociable, aren't we? Did anyone receive a handshake that was somewhat like a wet noodle? The handshake that you give should be firm. You meet the web of that other person's hand and you give a slight squeeze, showing confidence, showing it is a pleasure to meet you. You may sit. Thank you. If you are seated and someone approaches you and they extend their hand, you rise. It is the respectful thing to do. In an interview situation, always wait for the invitation to take a seat. Make sure that your posture is good and your seated position doesn't leave room for embarrassment, especially, ladies, if you're wearing a skirt that is quite short. Tip 4, be your own commercial. If asked to share something about yourself, think of at least 2 to 3 things that you feel would shed some light about you, your interests, and your accomplishments. Ask yourself, quote, do these things help the interviewer to know who I am? For example, I love to go to the movies. That doesn't help an interviewer decide if you're a good prospect. However, I've worked at a hospital and met all kinds of people. I did well at helping to make their experiences less stressful. I discovered that providing customer service was something I was good at. Or, I absolutely love keyboarding. I'm good at it. The day in which we live has taught me that this is a great skill to master. I'm the oldest/youngest of X number. I've been exposed to and participate in a certain kind of teamwork, which creates the desired family dynamics we need to live together in our household. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared to discuss what makes you the best candidate for the position or position with the company. If no specific job has been identified, may I suggest you mention things such as, I have good communication skills. I am good at meeting and working with people. I'm good at persuading others to change their point of view or embrace new ideas. If given a job to do, I will do my best to make sure it's done well. I have certain goals. I know I must be gainfully employed to realize these goals because my goals are important. Finding the way to make them happen is important. Even without trying, I seem to be identified as a leader. I have no problem being supervised, listening and following instructions as given. I'm creative and flexible and really good at finding alternatives. If problems come up, I'm good at finding or developing solutions. Be prepared to share information on how these traits have come into play in your experience before. There will probably be more candidates for the position than there are openings today. So interviewers will look for ways to screen people out. Put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself why they may not hire me. It is up to you to convince them that you deserve consideration. If interviewers feel you don't care, then they won't care. You may be asked if you have any questions. Please have something to say rather than just saying no. Come to the interview with some intelligent questions for the interviewer that demonstrates your interest in gaining employment as well as serious intent to accept a job if offered. Have at least 2 questions ready. Avoid letting one of those questions be in regards to what you will make. Someone said earlier, it's not always about the money. This is important, but it should happen later. A good question for you to ask the interviewer, if you could design the ideal candidate for this position from the ground up, what would he or she be like? What type of individual are you looking for? 5, avoid negativity. Refrain from being negative. Don't allow yourself to be lured into a response which invites negative comments. Last week I was in a bank, name unknown, will not be shared, I should say. It was a 29-year-old who was having a challenge with a younger person. As she said, I'm a millennial, but why is it that they do not communicate? Why is it that they do not do their job? And I could see the attitude, the scowl on her face. When I finished my transaction, I whispered to her and said, keep smiling. We are walking billboards. There's always someone watching us. Do not allow that young man to get you fired. It might well be just the test for personality or professionalism if you speak negatively about your last job, company, or supervisor. The interviewer might assume you do the same in regards to the present position, if hired. Think positive. No one likes a complainer, so don't dwell on negative experiences during the interview. Even if the interviewer asks you point blank, what courses in school did you like least? Was it the fault of the teacher? Or what did you like least about the previous job? Try not to answer this kind of question. You might share something like, I realized there would be some aspects of the job that were different from what I had done before or what I actually really wanted to do. I also realized I needed the job and had accepted its duties, so I managed to put the job over my opinion or preference. Or, well, actually, I found something about all of my classes that I've liked. For example, although I found math or French to be very tough, I like the fact that it made me work hard and prove to myself that I could do it. Finally, tip 6, create a partnership or bond. You might well feel as though you're in a tug of war with the interviewer. Your job is to transform this tug of war into a relationship. Relationship building, ladies and gentlemen, is important. Into a relationship in which you're both on the same side. Issue an invitation to be considered. You could say something as simple as, I'm so happy to have the chance to learn more about your company and to share some things about me. I certainly hope this is going to be a good match. I know I'm certainly that I will do my part. I'm excited about the possibilities. Try not to show offense, even if a question appears inappropriate. You can respond with remarks like, I would hope that the scenario you just described would not occur. If it does, I would like to think how best to professionally address that situation. We realize that this is a crash course in getting you ready for the experiences, so let's go over a few things. And in closing, the 6 tips. Be confident. You can do this. Every second counts. Enter with poise, energy, and enthusiasm. Your handshake says a lot about who you are. You are your own commercial. Make it a great one. Negativity is a deal breaker. Don't whine or complain. Lastly, number 6, create a partnership. I am willing to help you if you allow me the chance. Leave the interview with the other individual thinking, now, that person would be good to have on our team. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.